Hey, Sanjeev.
Yep. It's perfectly all right. Hey, great. Hi, Govindarajan. I know, despite all those difficulties, technical difficulties, you wanna quickly introduce yourself and share your thought on your favorite topic, and then we can take it from there. I think
Sure.
uh, I think that would be really helpful. So better late than never. I think we are back online with both the people hearing each other. So let's continue, Govindaraj. Thank you very much for joining.
Sure. So this is Govindarajan. Short form is Govi because it's a tough name to pronounce for most of the Westerners, right? So someone named me Govi, and I latched on to that, right? So I have like 18 plus years in IT industry. Typically, like any typical person who is currently working on data management domain, I started with database developer and slowly moved on to data migration for banking industry. I was instrumental in my early career, instrumental in implementing ATM and internet banking solution for Dena Bank Southern region. So that is where I started my journey and slowly moved into master data consulting around
So
2009 in
what are the
Mumbai.
key learning, Govindraj? What is the key thing that you want to summarize in 2 minutes quickly? And we have other guests also waiting there. So
Sure.
we try to get
So
us. Yeah.
so my passion is on data quality, master data management. That is where my experience is. So currently, I am running a company called Luminant Works, which is focused on delivering data democratization for various customers. So that is my passion is running startup businesses. This is my fifth venture on my own. Previously, I have been managing departments, starting up departments for various companies I worked on in the last 9 years. So my passion is on the data operations side and data quality, master data management side.
Perfect. So what are the challenges that you have faced and you wanted to give some feedback or maybe learning to the user very quickly?
So in terms of data, you're asking, right?
Yes, I mean data governance or data quality. What
Yeah.
because it's a widespread problem. Everybody has that problem and looks like it is always there, no matter what you do, right? So, what are the key
Yes.
learnings of yours?
Yeah, so I always prefer to tell the customer, okay, data, your data management, anything under that, like master data management or
Mhm,
data quality, that
mhm,
is not a process; it's a journey, which
mhm.
you obviously you have to take. So every customer under the sun has the data challenges. It is only how much challenge they have, rather than whether do they have the challenges or not, right? So
Okay.
it's a journey. That is what I always tell the customers. It is a journey. We come from a consulting and a solutioning angle to try to partake in their journey and help the customers out. So that is what
Okay.
I.
So, hold on your thought here. I have one more guest coming in here. Hi, Vidya
Yeah,
Sagar. Can you speak
yeah, hi.
now?
Uh, can you
Hey,
hear
I
Sanjeev?
can hear you. Yes, I can hear. Can you adjust your camera a little bit because you're kind of cutting short there?
Okay, just a
Yeah,
minute.
I mean maybe come into the
Let
frame.
me,
Yeah, perfect. Yep,
yeah,
that looks better. Little bit. Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
So, would you like to introduce yourself to the user, Vidya Sagar?
Yes, yeah. Hi, I'm Vidya Sagar, about 24 years experience in the IT services, all with TCS. For
Awesome.
the last 4 to 5 years, I've been working in the enterprise architecture area. Prior to that,
Mhm.
for about 8 years, I managed the legacy modernization practice. So, as part of this, one of the things I've involved with on the data side is migration of data and archiving data which is not required for active use.
Mhm.
And in 2008, I have been part of MDM practice for about 6 months, so a little bit I know on that side.
Mhm.
So my message or reflection about the data is that we do have a right to use the data, but we also have a duty towards data. Yeah, in the sense that no, we need to understand how to capture data and what to do with the data. And I came across an interesting quote half an hour back while reading an article, uh, which talks about the Dunning-Kruger effect. So this article quotes, ignorance more frequently begets confidence than knowledge. So if I apply this in the context of pandemic that we are living, right? So one thing where data has been effectively used is we've used the data from our mobile phones, switching on the Bluetooth to effectively enable contact tracing and help reduce the spread of the disease. But at the same time, in spite of so much of intelligence and technology, as a collective whole, the entire world has failed in understanding its supply chain better. So we don't understand the business better, because of which what happened is the entire supply chain collapsed due to the lockdown. So one point is, if you understand your business, you will be able to model your business in the data correctly. So we have, in spite of so much data being captured, we could not really understand our supply chain. For example, I read about this story where a food manufacturer, food processing company, they are part of the essential sector, but they have everything. They have manufactured the product, but they did not have the packaging material to pack it and send, because packaging was not considered essential sector by the government. So you could not flag and risk one component of your supply chain because it was never considered important. So you need to understand your business better to actually model it via data. If you don't understand your business, whatever tools or whatever you have is of no use. So that is my viewpoint on data. And same thing I tell all the people, because I go to colleges and a lot of my colleagues also ask like, yeah.
Having some difficulty hearing you right now again.
So the key message is we need to understand our business better to know what is the. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah,
so
go ahead, Sanjeev.
No, what I was sharing and trying to summarize for user, because I had some difficulty again hearing you, is that you got to understand your business processes better. You have to handle on that business better, and then try to see that what data essentially come and augment that piece into that process and help improve that piece. So basically, it's not about data first; it's about fixing the process first, and then applying the data to make it better, or maybe utilize it and move forward. I think that's the key message that I thought you wanted to convey.
Right.
Perfect.
Correct.
Perfect.
Right.
What are your thoughts, Govind? As you heard, Vidyasagar, he's thought from overall enterprise data management perspective.
Yeah, I think probably I share the similar experience. Only thing is on the business side as well, because of mass data management, correct? So it is, like I said, it is not whether you have data challenges, but what are all those challenges? That is what the customers need to think and document, right? Definitely every organization has the data challenges. If you look at the current, what is happening on the COVID, right? So especially when we had been marketing or broadcasting data analytics and data science, which can predict any outcome in any business angle. But if you look at the last 6 or 7 months, it was not totally unpredicted, right? Whatever happened with the COVID situation, economies crumbling down, and then the people getting into lockdown. This cannot be predicted, obviously. So that is where I think people who are managing data should come together and then relook at the processes and practices which have been followed so far, and then look at how we can make better data solutions so that the world is a little bit a better place, right? So we cannot 100% predict, but this is a total failure on our part, where we didn't predict anything of this sort. Even when China was under the early stages of the disease, we have never predicted this, right? So that is a little bit maybe someone showing us the mirror. Okay, boss, they're saying data, 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 but this was totally unpredictable. How can we better this next time, right?
So
So
there is
that's
lot
what I
of
was
talk.
looking at.
There is a lot of talk rather than action is what I keep saying, right? We talk
Correct,
about data as everything else. We keep on saying that data is the new oil, data is the new water, data is the new oxygen, and everything else. But ultimately, when it comes to taking actions or trying to
correct,
utilize that in a way that it is going to benefit us, we basically failed miserably, right? Because we keep just talking and then saying that okay, we care for it, it is an asset and everything else, but there is no proper action to utilize it in a better
proper
way. I
action.
think
Yes,
before
yes,
starting this call and having this technical difficulty, I was sharing one of the incident where one of the person asked me, and it's a real thing, and he said that why I should be taking care of data and why I should be governing data if there is a really a team out there. They are doing the job. Why I should be worried about it? And that's where the
correct,
thought came. I shared that hey, data is everybody's responsibility. If you don't feel that, that's not going to work because CDO or maybe a data governor or a data steward cannot alone drive entire stuff on himself. He needs like-minded people who are equally owning the piece,
yes,
equally
yes,
responsible and accountable for that whole data ecosystem. If that's not done, then probably things would not be better, and we will keep on talking and using those metaphors and not really and not really living that. So that's where the whole
correct,
thought was.
correct, correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So
I think
another thing I would like to read, right? Because I keep hearing this. So I work with countries who are just coming out into the data maturity angle, right? Like places like
mhm,
Vietnam,
mhm,
okay, and then Cambodia. Those
mhm,
customers keep asking me, boss, what is your thought process on our data quality challenges? Are we
mhm,
inferior or superior to Western countries? I used to
mhm,
tell them, boss, data quality is a challenge, even now
mhm,
for Western countries, Western customers, as well as for
mhm.
you. It may be they
Right.
might be having like billions of data, you might be having millions of data. That is the only
Mhm.
difference between Western
The
countries
volume
and this.
difference.
Volume
Mhm.
is the only difference. But whatever challenges you have,
Challenges are
same
same.
with other countries also. I also used to tell them you cannot achieve 100% data quality in a day, right? So you
It's like
implement
it's
a
process.
leading product in the market, and it is not that you're going to improve your data quality overnight. It's going to be a
Mhm.
journey, and I'm not sure whether any customer in the world has achieved 100% data quality maturity so far. It's because
Yeah. So
we keep
let's hear
putting
from
in.
Vidyasagar also. What are your thoughts? I mean, I know you work for a big enterprise, 25 years in this industry. You do research paper, you go to the conferences and talk. What is your take on data quality as such? You have any thoughts on that? Because that's a really general key subject, right?
Yes. So from a perspective of data quality, uh, as you have mentioned in the beginning, it is everybody's right duty to actually maintain the quality of data. So the data stewardship or governance is everybody's responsibility, and it's a bottom-up approach rather than a top-down effort where the CDO and their team really lays down guidelines and they think that no data architect is only responsible. So data architect alone is not responsible. It's a
Right,
combined effort, and uh, this is a challenging task in any organization. And in fact, some of these concepts like gamification, if you are able to actually introduce and
Mhm.
make the process of managing data quality a democratic process,
Interesting
then
rather than
it will
interesting.
be a much
Yeah.
better exercise. In fact, if you read through the paper that I have shared, we have
Right.
also highlighted the same point. So
Mhm.
we are trying to understand how to actually create a secret sauce for uh, the gamification, a model that enterprises can adopt so that more data quality is done easily. People should appreciate because they spend a lot of time in things which they think are useful, but it is otherwise. So how we can make it exciting for all the stakeholders in the organization to make data quality something close to their heart is
That's a
something
great
they
point.
need to do. So gamification probably could be one model. So we are trying to look at how to create an enterprise model of gamification to manage data quality.
And I'll bring this topic. I know, last show when I was talking to, talking around the human aspect of data, right? So when you talk about when you bring anything, any human aspect into anything technical or a little complex, people look for those ways and means where they feel interested automatically, and through the help of story, one of the aspect is like gamification. How can you create those what do you call it? Excitement and engagement? Unless you are able to do that, generally the notion of people is that data is boring. Generally, I mean, if you
Right.
really see that, I mean, I can say from my experience, I don't know about yours, but I would say I would think that you would agree that people generally feel that okay, I mean, it's okay. I mean, they're not very excited about data part of it. But when you bring this gamification and create that environment in which they can really operate the way you want them to operate, like really taking care of their data, uh, uh, and bringing those choices. And I talked about this choice architecture and nudging, theory of nudging, right? And that's where these things will come into the picture. Like you bring those gamification, you bring those choices so that they are not bound by the rule. Rule doesn't work to the people. The story works. When you bring the rule,
Right.
they will feel that intimidated. They will feel that okay, why this kind of policy heavy, rule heavy processes. Instead, if you bring those gamification, like Vidya said, right, it will be really really helpful to people to really naturally adopt to it because they see okay, it is part of them. It's easy, and they can just make that happen. So I think that's a great really aspect and on a point here, Vidya. It's really
Yeah.
great.
So just to add to your point, if I may, so
Mhm.
what usually happens is it takes lesser time to be compliant, but then people spend more time and become more creative on finding ways how they can avoid being compliant.
Right,
So
right.
that's why they take.
So a lot of
So
focus
by
on
introducing
avoiding that.
gamification, we can make it exciting for them to become compliant. And the other thing is we also need to tell see, data is nothing but how you model the system. uh,
Correct.
and if you are able to show the cause effect sequence, say for example, if you have the data incorrectly, this is what the result. If you have a better data, this is what is the result. Then I think that is another way how you can nudge people, and you
Right.
need to show the traceability of your involvement in making that data right. Then
Mhm.
people will appreciate better because they feel that no, they are not a stakeholder in the entire process. If they feel that, so then it will happen.
Yeah. So I
Yes.
think we are getting some good comments over there. Tejashwi, who has been part of my last show, has really appreciated the conversation, like on gamification and all. We have Mukesh, who is talking about remediation strategy is also important to improve DQ on permanent basis. So he's basically talking about the basically addressing the root cause. So basically, I call it like, are you addressing the symptoms or a root cause? So we should probably focus on the root cause rather than focusing on the symptoms because that's gonna help in long run. So that's really great. Good comments are coming over here. Um, uh, I'm going back to Govind, right? You said you have a consulting firm, and then you are trying helping people on the data. What are the typical challenges that you are hearing and seeing from your client? Couple of examples very quickly.
Come again, I didn't get you, sorry.
Your typical challenges heard from your client as you are helping them as a part of the consulting business that you have.
So adoption is one, with Vidya has touched upon. Adoption is the major challenge
Mhm.
which each customer actually go through, right? So once because the business adoption is the key for any success of a data management project, whether it's master data or a data quality or a governance. Business making business adopt to those processes and solutions which you are putting in place, that is going to be a very very key aspect of your success, because technology companies typically go in there, okay, they will say, okay, you have data quality challenges where you are saying, okay, out of million records I have like 40% of the records are done not as per the standards, okay. And typically that implementation guys will say, okay, for this I will implement 1 2 3, these are all the solutions, and then everything will be good to go. So once they leave the table after 6 months or 9 months, you will again find these challenges lying around, because people will go back to their old practices, because old habits die hard, right? So they will start using the excel files for sharing data among themselves, because typically there will be a very less technical expertise. I'm not saying zero expertise. People will be little not adaptive to move into a new solution without IT help. So I would say that key challenge will be to make business adopt. For that challenge to be addressed, the solution needs to be very UI friendly, so that every time the business user need not go to the technical team for even their simplest day-to-day job. So adoption is very very key, especially on the business part for any data management initiatives.
How about you, Vidya, from your different solution providing that you do, right, consulting and all? What are the typical challenges that you hear?
Yeah,
Because enterprise data management is also very common discussion, and when you're talking about enterprise architecture, it is really common that data will come into the picture. What are your thoughts?
correct. Yeah, see, my interface is more with systems rather than the users when it comes to data. So
Correct.
what I have seen is that whenever we are trying to do modernization and other things, right, we have come across scenarios where we have seen data and metadata is missing. So the
Yeah.
table structure and everything was missing, but the table is there. So I don't know how it existed in the system, and that is one point. And second thing is, as enterprises keep growing, uh, you see these tables structures getting evolved, and there are backups of data which are there. And whenever there is a different versions of backup or different things, so the layouts are not consistent, which is understandable, because you have a layout of a table version 1 today. Tomorrow you may have a different layout, so the backup will have the same layout. But when you are changing, nobody goes back to the old version of backup and do the retrofitting of the layout, so that all the backups are actually having the same layout. So when you really migrate the data to the new target system, right, you come across these different challenges, and these things were not ever planned during data migration from a timeline and effort perspective. So these are those hidden mines we come across, and what we do is, some of them we know based on experience. Sometimes we come across challenges which we never have faced in the past also. So we need to sometimes come up with innovative ideas which are just relevant for that project, because you may not even come across that situation. So it will be a contextual innovation we implement to tide over that situation, that may or may not be useful again. But that is another thing which you need to look at on how to actually overcome such challenges. So, for example, pandemics itself, right? Nobody has really thought about that can come into that. But then suddenly a lot of innovation is coming. So, in
Right.
enterprise data scenarios also, when we deal with legacy data, lot of minds are there. You never know those things. So your knowledge and
That's the
your experience and creative innovation is also important.
I think what you're trying to say in a terminology that I think Govind can always speak up on that, because it's all about really knowing what you are trying to deal with. What is your data landscape? So
Exactly.
that's where your data cataloging comes into the picture. You have to be really knowing what you have got first before you can manage them, before you can utilize them in a better way. So if I don't know what all I have got, can I can I confidently know that, okay, this is what my source is and this is what it means, like metadata, meaning of those columns, those tribal knowledge that is there in your mind or in anybody's mind. Because when we work for an organization for many years, you acquire a lot of knowledge. And when you are only keeping in your head and not on the system where people can search, things will be really, not going to help anybody else. So dumping those knowledge, creating those catalog, and making it searchable so that analysts can use it, data scientists can use it and understand, get the meaning out of your data, and then create those insights. That's where the whole data cataloging comes into this. That's a great point, Vikas. Yeah. So I think we are very, very much over the time. I know due to the technical glitch, it was not a great start, but I still loved it because that's what I do, and I don't mind having and meeting the unexpected stuff here, right? And because it's all technology, it didn't work. That's absolutely all right. But when we started, we had a very good conversation. I loved both of you having in this call. It requires a courage. It requires a lot of conviction to come and show up and speak. It's not easy. So I think Vijay Sagar and Govind, I really appreciate that you took this and you came up and you showed and you shared your thought. What I will do is that I will compile the small videos and share with you. You can always use it and share as wherever you want to do. And we are looking forward for the much more collaborative way of speaking, and expecting that this technical glitches might not happen in future as well. Okay.
Sure.
So
Thank you.
again, thank you very much, Vidya Sagar and Govind, for joining today. I absolutely love this conversation today. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Sanjeev. Thank you for giving
Yeah.
this platform to express our views on data.
Thanks very much. Okay, guys, it was wonderful conversation. I wanted to really take this time and speak directly to the users of DataKiBaat. That thanks for joining and thanks for all your appreciation and collaboration and joining and sharing insight, thoughts and comments. We had this small technical glitches. Murphy's law applies, what I can say. So other than that, I can absolutely with full confidence say that these two people who joined today as a random thought leader had a very good thoughts around humanization of data, gamification, adoption, data quality, data cataloging, and all. So do hear the conversation. Starting 10 minutes would not be a very informative because we had this technical issues. We were trying to figure that things out, but rest of the conversation would certainly is going to help you. So enjoy this talk. Let me know your thoughts and comments, and I'm gonna take care on the technical side in the next call or going forward. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. DataKiBaat. Keep watching and keep